of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, also known as OPEC, are looking for ways to cut back on oil supply. This comes as the U.S. imposed sanctions on Iran are directly impacting the global oil market, creating an outcome that many countries didn't foresee. Here's RT correspondent Ashley Banks with more.
That's right, Sarah. OPEC may trim back oil production as soon as next month due to low demand. Over the weekend, several oil-producing countries gathered in Abu Dhabi, including Russia, which isn't a member of OPEC. The countries met over whether they should cut production by 1 million barrels a day starting next year. Now, back in June, Trump imposed sanctions on Iran, affecting Iran's oil output. So OPEC and Russia made the decision to pump over 1 million barrels per day on top of what was already being produced. As a result, oil prices have plummeted, and we're close to seeing a global oversupply of oil. Just last week, the sanctions on Iran went into effect, and many are concerned with what could happen to a global market without oil from Iran. Experts say by cutting production by 1 million barrels a day, this could potentially be a solution. However, experts do warn this all depends on how much oil demand growth slows down and how much Iranian supply falls due to U.S. sanctions. Over the weekend in Abu Dhabi, the Saudi energy minister spoke about the decisions made to offset the U.S.-imposed sanctions on Iran.
We've taken decisions that have had severe impact on our short to medium-term fiscal interests. And we did that just the last 6 months. We oversupplied the market, as I just admitted, and caused the inventory builds and brought markets from 100 to 110 where they would have been easily in September and October to the 70 we see today, because we wanted to lubricate the global economic system.
Saudi Arabia has already said it will reduce its oil supply by cutting its oil output by 500,000 barrels per day, starting in December. When it comes to Russia, one of the world's largest producers of oil, the country didn't say whether it would or wouldn't pull back on supply. The country's oil minister said it's too early to make a decision, but said he was open to crude production cuts if all of the countries reach a consensus. He also said Russia's production had, quote, reached a certain level where we have stabilized, and we will be fluctuating around that level in coming months. As for moving forward, this is what the UAE energy minister had to say.
We will do whatever it takes to adjust the supply to meet that demand, and we will not overdo it. That's what's in our hand. What's in the hands of the United States President, when a president in the world is outside our control in OPEC, and we will deal with the facts as much as we can.
Further discussions are to take place at a scheduled OPEC meeting in Vienna next month. The OPEC president says, quote, we will assure you that when we meet in December, we will go to the market with the solution that will ensure market stability. Sarah?
Ashley, last week the U.S. said that 8 jurisdictions could continue temporarily to buy oil from Iran. These include China, India, and Italy. Is this easing some of these tensions?
Sarah, I would say this indeed is easing the tensions. Some countries, they really depend on Iran for oil, and experts say the 6-month grace period that Trump is permitting for these countries to continue to buy oil from Iran is a good thing, at least for now, as it could allow exports to stabilize. However, given the Trump administration's stance on wanting to crack down on Iran's exports, I mean, things could change.
Things could certainly change, so we'll have to keep an eye out. Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome.
Hey, YouTube. Thanks for checking out our channel.